In this question, for f of x equal to 3x squared plus 2x, f of 2a is equal to, and one of these answers. So when you have f of something that's not an x, or the variable that's in the function, then all you really have to do, and in this case, the x value, if you like, is 2a, all you have to do is wherever you see an x in the function, you just replace it with whatever's in this bracket. So doing that in this function, you're going to get 3 times, and x is 2a, so where you see an x, put the 2a, so that becomes 2a squared plus 2 times, and then put 2a again, and then just work that out. So that becomes 3 times, and squaring both things in the bracket there, you get 4a squared plus, and then 2 times 2a is 4a. And so that becomes 3 times 4 is 12a squared plus 4a. And you could factorize that if you want, but none of these answers are in factorized form. So it looks like E up here is the answer. So that's all you've got to do. Whatever's in the bracket here, when you're doing f of that thing, you're always replacing the x or the y or whatever the variable is with what's in the bracket, just as I've done here. And in this question, for the function with rule, and it's a hybrid function, so f of x is equal to x squared plus 5 for x greater than or equal to 3, and it's equal to minus x plus 6 when x is less than 3. So for example, if x is a number more than or equal to 3, let's say it's equal to 5, then you would, if you had to find f of 5, you would sub that into this top one, and you would get 5 squared plus 5, which is 25 plus 5, which equals 30. So you wouldn't sub 5 into this bottom one because that's only valid for x values less than 3. And similarly, if I picked a number less than 3, such as 0, I would have to sub the 0. If I had to find f of 0, I would have to sub that into the bottom part of the hybrid function into this part, and you would end up with that's equal to minus 0 plus 6, and it would equal 6. So that's how you do f of something with a hybrid function. And what you're being asked is to find the value of f of a plus 3, where a is a negative real number. So looking at f of a plus 3, so just the a plus 3 part, if a is any negative number, when you add 3 to it, the value of that is always going to be less than 3. So let's say a was minus 100, then minus 100 plus 3, that's obviously going to be less than 3. That's equal to minus 97, which is definitely less than 3. And an even smaller number, minus 0.1 plus 3. So even something really, really close to 0 but still negative, when you add 3 to it, that's going to be 2.9, which is still less than 3. So no matter what negative number you or a is, when you add 3 to it, your answer is, like this one, is always going to be less than 3. So that means you're subbing a number here, the value of that whole thing, if a is a negative number, the value of that whole thing is going to be less than 3. So that means the x value, which is whatever that number here is going to be less than 3. So it means you sub it into this part of the hybrid function. So that becomes a minus, and just replacing again the x with a plus 3, so that becomes minus a plus 3 and then plus 6, and then just simplify that. So minus a minus 3 plus 6, and then that equals minus a plus 3, and that's answer C here. So that is a slightly harder question, and that's how you do it. And just again, to be clear, when you're finding f of something in a hybrid function, depending on what the x value is as to which part of the hybrid function you sub it into, and you always have to look at the domain, just as I did in this question. And so I guess that's about it for this question, and I'll see you in the next one.